What's up, YouTube? It's Nerdy, and welcome back to the Transmissions Draft League, season number 3. Today we are taking a look at our Week 1 matchup versus the London Ludicolos. That's Invisible's team. He's got a very strong team. Of course, his top 4 is incredibly threatening. Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Mega Lucario are, of course, really big threats. So that is what we're going to be looking at today. And without further ado, let's go ahead and meet the team. First up, we have Weirdier. This is our all-in-one Porygon 2 answer. Weirdier is quite bulky, and of course, Imprisoned Trick Room does ensure that our opponent's preferred method of speed control will not come into effect. We also have Psychic for good damage, hopefully to hit something like that Lucario pretty hard. We are also packing Intimidate, which does help versus Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Mega Lucario after it Mega Evolves. We are quite bulky, both physically and special, so we should be able to take hits from basically any Pokemon that doesn't hit us super effectively, aka anything not named Incineroar. And although we do get walled by Incineroar, just intimidating that Pokemon is fine. I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to be leaning into Weirdier all that hard. It's fine for the Porygon matchup, and Intimidate is valuable. But outside of that, Weirdier doesn't really add too much, so it might be sidelined depending on how hard our opponent's going into Trick Room. Next up, we have Thundurus. Now, I did consider bringing Defiant here. Of course, with Intimidate and Incineroar, that is very tempting. However, the coverage of Sludge Bomb just ended up being too important. So this is kind of our backup plan versus a Trick Room lead from our opponent. Covert Cloak plus Taunt does basically beat any lead that includes Rillaboom, Incineroar, or next to Porygon 2. As we get to ignore those fake outs with Covert Cloak and taunt the Porygon 2 to make sure it can't get up that Trick Room. Sludge Bomb, obviously really good coverage for the Rillaboom. Really the only Pokemon that we kind of struggle to hit on our opponent's team is the Rillaboom, so quite likely that Thundurus is going to be making use of that Sludge Bomb. And we are quite offensive on this Thundurus. Mostly for the reason that we don't want to get walled by anything in this matchup. We kind of outspeed everything outside of the Mega Lucario with Thundurus, so no point in speed investing there. And Thunderbolt plus Sludge Bomb does hit everything quite hard outside of things like the Raging Bolt. But that is why we are packing Leer. The rest of our team is quite physical, so being able to drop the defense of 2 Pokemon kind of ensures that the rest of our team is going to be hitting really hard despite any Intimidates that'll come out from Incineroar. Next up, Pokemon that I think is going to be the ace this season, and that's Mega Titar. Mega Titar is actually incredible. While I was doing calcs for this match, Tyranitar just jumps off the page. Knockoff, obviously a really good move for things like the Porygon 2. It also really helps into the Rillaboom. Getting rid of that Assault Vest does mean that Thundurus can basically OHKO that Pokemon with a Sludge Bomb. But we are, instead of packing Rock Slide, we're packing Stone Edge. So Stone Edge is really strong because even at -1, a Helping Hand Stone Edge KOs even the most physically bulky Incineroar, which is exactly why I said that this Pokemon was jumping off the page to me. It deals a ton of damage even through Intimidate, and something like Superpower just OHKOs Mega Lucario. The other really nice thing about this Pokemon is with Friend Guard up, we can just naturally live a close combat from a Mega Lucario, which is something that a Tyranitar shouldn't be able to do, but this Tyranitar can. So Mega Titar is going to be insane this match for sure, and I'm very confident that it's going to continue to do that for the rest of the season. Obviously, without Terra, Tyranitar does tend to look a little bit worse, but Mega T-Tar apparently just has the stats to be able to ignore all of its weaknesses. Um, so yeah, expecting a big game out of this Pokemon. Next up, we have Houndstone. I'm definitely disrespecting Incineroar here with this Pokemon because despite having Clear Amulet, Houndstone really doesn't want to see Incineroar. As we have Fluffy instead of Sandrush. We already get kind of outspeed most of his team, once again, outside of the Mega Lucario. And we are packing Fluffy. This is because a lot of his team is very physical outside of the Raging Bolt. And with Fluffy, we take a lot less damage from those Pokemon. So being able to burn certain threats like Rillaboom and Mega Lucario is really nice. We have Sonic Tantrum to hit things like the Raging Bolt or the Incineroar. And then last respects, if we are the last Pokemon standing, means that this Pokemon is still threatening at the end of the game. So Houndstone hopefully going to be able to stick around for a long time. We are very bulky with some speed investment, like I said, to outspeed things like the Rillaboom. But yeah, this is mostly just a Pokemon that is kind of a mix of defense and offense. It shouldn't take too much damage from anything except for the Raging Bolt, and it'll be able to burn certain threats to ensure that our longer term game plans go through. Next up, we have Clefairy. Very standard Clefairy outside of something like Sing. We are bringing Sing this week because I believe Clefairy is kind of a Pokemon that you can ignore. So one of my potential leads is simply Mega T-Tar plus Clefairy. And in that lead, it's very likely that he's going to have Fake Out in lead. In those scenarios, I almost always want to protect T-Tar. It's not clear if he wants to spend a Fake Out on Clefairy. If he does, that's fine with me. It means that T-Tar's not going to take any damage that turn. But because Clefairy is not normally a threatening Pokemon, ignoring it, especially on a turn like that, just being able to click Sing and get a slightly better than 50-50 chance to take a Pokemon out for at least a turn is incredibly helpful, especially when we can follow up with a Helping Hand Stone Edge to KO something like Incineroar. And Seismic Toss is the only real consistent damage that Clefairy can use, so that if it does come down to a Clefairy versus something like Raging Bolt, we'll be able to deal some consistent damage to hopefully win the game there. Our final Pokemon this week is maybe my favorite one that we're bringing. We have a Chople Berry Regirock. Obviously Chople Berry is for the Mega Lucario, and thanks to the Chople Berry, under sand and with grassy terrain up, we will be able to eat a close combat thanks to the Chople Berry, only taking about, I believe it's like 55%. We can set up Iron Defense, and then after grassy terrain healing, we actually live a second close combat at +2 defense, and our Body Press will always KO the Mega Lucario. It will always KO any Incineroar, and it will deal a significant chunk to both Raging Bolt and Rillaboom. And then, of course, Rock Slide is just our best rock move. We're always going to be slower than everything, so Rock Slide is just good spread damage in case he wants to run something that has redirection. I'm not sure that anything on his team actually does, but yeah, that is the team this week. I'm actually really excited for some of our lower tier Pokemon. Things like Regirock and Houndstone seem to be really fun this week. Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. Good luck to my opponent, and I'll see you guys in the games. Alright, and we are in the match. Let's go ahead and take a look at our opponent's team. Bullet Punch, Close Combat, Crunch, and Sword Dance is the Lucario set. Crunch, I think, for the Houndstone? Houndstone and Wordier, I suppose. It's also Steadfast instead of Inner Focus, so we can intimidate it regardless of whether it's Mega Evolved or not. Insane is leftovers with a very standard set of fake out, parting shot, protect, knockoff. No fire coverage. So Houndstone, feeling great there. Choice specs, Raging Bolt, which has Hyper Voice, Volt Switch, Thunderclap, and Draco Meteor. Hyper Voice is an interesting one. It does mean that occasionally our Houndstone can wall that thing, but it does also mean that Clefairy can't redirect some of those moves. Standard P2 set, Shadow Ball is coverage, so it's got no normal moves to speak of. And Ice Beam, I assume that's for the Thunderous. It's also Trace on the P2. Jumpluff is Sash, Energy Ball, so shouldn't be doing too much damage, and then it's Dual Screams plus Rage Powder on the Jumpluff. And then finally, a Life Orb Rillaboom, actually. Knockoff, High Horsepower, Fake Out, and Grassy Glide. So Glide is the only grass coverage this Pokemon is packing. The more I think about it, the better that Weirdier looks, because there are 0 Pokemon that are immune to Intimidate here. Thundurus is also looking pretty nice. It does semi-wall the Lucario as well. I think I am going to bring Thundurus in lead. Curious about what I should put next to it. I kind of want to put Houndstone next to it so that I have 2 Fake Out immunities in lead. It'll also mean that I can burn something if I need to. And then obviously we are bringing Tyranitar. At this point, I kind of want to bring the Regirock. Clefairy is also really good if I can get it next to Tyranitar. It's also decent next to Houndstone. Here, let's think about this. So definitely I want Thundurus in lead because it's really strong into a lot of his Pokemon. Next to the Thundurus, we can go Tyranitar, we can go Clefairy. If we go Tyranitar, we're pretty likely to just protect and attack on turn 2. Or we could even switch. Yeah, I think I am going to lead Tyranitar, and I'm going to bring Houndstone and Regirock in the back. Houndstone and Regirock are kind of like just the main game plan versus all these physical threats. Let's see what the lead is. It's the Mega Lucario and the Jumpluff, actually. Alright, so here I'm going to go ahead and taunt the Jumpluff. And in this scenario, I think I'm actually going to switch into Houndstone here. Because we'll be able to burn the Lucario on turn 2. We could also taunt the Lucario here so it can't Sword Stance. I think that's actually kind of what I'm wanting to go for here. I'm going to taunt the Lucario so it can't Sword Stance. I'm going to Houndstone. Rage Powder comes out, so taunt will actually affect that Pokemon. And yeah, as we thought, it is Sword Stance on the Lucario. Alright, so with that, let's go ahead and let's see, what does Lucario Mega? It's Bullet Punch, so Crunch is going to be his strongest move at +2 versus Houndstone. Fluffy. Oh, we should live. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hit them with a big Leer here, I believe. And we'll go ahead and burn this Lucario. Okay, Leer comes out, dropping the defense. Lucario is actually going to go for a second Swords Dance. And Will-O-Wisp does connect onto the Lucario. So now this is a burned +4 Lucario. Still not taking too much damage from this. Let's see how much Thundurus is going to do to this. Thunderbolt should deal a bunch to this Lucario. Let's look at Jumpluff. Jumpluff might actually just drop to the Sludge Bomb. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit the Lucario with a Thunderbolt. And I'm actually just going to switch to Regirock here, so I can start setting up Iron Defenses. Crunch comes out, we eat that just fine. Energy Ball does hurt a little bit more. Thunderbolt does come out. Okay, and then here I'm going to go ahead and Sludge Bomb and Protect so that this Lucario goes down to its own burn. Rillaboom coming in here is actually really great. Close Combat goes into the Protect. Sludge Bomb does a ton of damage to that Rillaboom. Lucario actually going to survive because of the grassy terrain. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go for another Thunderbolt. Well, let's make sure we can take out this Lucario. I'm gonna go back into Houndstone here. Because I feel like his best play is Fake Out plus Close Combat into the Regirock. There's nothing that... So Rillaboom's best move for Thundurus is actually Knock Off. It's Fake Out into Thundurus here. Fortunately, he doesn't seem to know about the Covert Cloak, but it doesn't matter here. So Lucario's just going to keep hanging out on that low HP there. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and click Iron Defense here, and then we'll go ahead and go for the... I think we're going to go ahead and go for the Last Respects on the Lucario. Glide comes out, Regirock does survive, and Houndstone will survive that crunch. Take a couple of knockouts there. Iron Defense comes out. Alright, it is Jumpluff, and Raging Bolt is the last Pokemon actually. Okay. I think here we're going to go ahead and Protect, and I think we're going to switch into T-Tar. Yeah, let's go ahead and switch into Tyranitar here. Okay, Thunderclap fails. Energy Ball goes into the Regirock. Alright, let's go ahead and go for Rock Slide here, and we're going to Mega Evolve. And I think our strongest move is going to be Stone Edge, so let's go ahead and go for that. Mega T-Tar comes out here. There's the Thunderclap. Stone Edge. That'll take out the Jump Fluff. And now it is a 2 versus 1 versus this Raging Bolt here. We're going to go ahead and click Will-O-Wisp here. He's locked into Thunderclap, so not protecting or not attacking here actually does guarantee that he doesn't do any damage. And we can stall out his Thunderclaps that are remaining. Yep, and I think that's honestly what we're going to do here. Just guarantee the win. Only got 5 Thunderclaps left. Down to 3 more. Down to 2 Thunderclaps left. 1 more. Wow, Houndstone has not failed a Protect. This Pokemon really wants the win. Okay, I believe actually Last Respects is stronger in this scenario, so we'll go for that. Right. Struggle comes out, and he does end up knocking himself out. So there is game number 1. Alright, that went pretty to plan. Of course, the Lucario is a bit terrifying. I think I'm gonna bring the same 4. I'm just gonna switch Houndstone in the lead. Because I like the ability to burn things. I like being able to burn the Rillaboom in case it does come. That is how we've always calced that, unfortunately. But I agree. Definitely taking all of those turns does give him a longer time to think about what he's going to do differently. So let's see what the changeup is. It's Incineroar and Raging Bolt in lead, actually. Interesting changeup. I'm definitely going to go ahead and go for the... Oh, actually, I don't know what I'm going to go for here. I think I'm honestly just going to switch into T-Tar here. I'm going to taunt the Incineroar. And I think here I'm going to burn the Raging Bolt again. Yeah, I'm going to taunt the Incineroar. That way I can't use Parting Shot here. Also, if something happens to switch in on that side, on either side, getting taunted or burned is not ideal. The Will-O-Wisp burn does kind of suck. We do drop to that Draco Meteor, and then Knockoff comes out. Does get rid of our Clear Amulet. In comes Mega T-Tar here. Mega T-Tar not threatened by much of anything that either of these Pokemon can do. So Now we can go ahead and go into Regirock. Rillaboom is the Pokemon to come in here. Let's see what this Incineroar wants to do. Protect comes out. That is just fine with me. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and throw a double Protect up just to block that Fake Out. Not too shabby. Now, he could get a free switch into the Mega Lucario here. That could be an issue, but of course we do have our Chople Berry intact, so we should be able to live a close combat on the Regirock. He actually stays in with both. Double Protects come out. It's Fake Out into the T-Tar, and Parting Shot actually into T-Tar. Okay. Alright. Decent news for us. I'm actually going to go for Superpower into the Incineroar slot. If that does switch into the Lucario, that is just a free knockout for us. And I'm going to Iron Defense here. Okay, Protect actually comes out. Grassy Glide into the Mega T-Tar. We do take quite a bit of damage there. And out comes Iron Defense. Alright. We can go ahead and protect. I'm going to go ahead and actually switch into Houndstone here. And then let's go ahead and go for Body Press into the Rillaboom slot, I think. Rillaboom, the Pokemon that's going to be dealing the most damage here. And I do want to preserve my Sand for an endgame scenario versus the Raging Bolt. We actually do take that Grassy Glide quite well. Knockoff comes off to take out our Chople Berry, and Body Press takes out the Rillaboom. Raging Bolt coming in now. Let's go ahead and go for the... we should take anything from the Incineroar here. I'm going to go ahead and Will-O-Wisp the Raging Bolt. The only thing it can hit me with before we move is the Thunderclap, which I think he's pretty likely to lock into here. Let's go ahead and Body Press the Incineroar. Okay. Burn the Raging Bolt. Draco Meteor comes out. Actually does a ton of damage. Okay. Regirock is on the block. Okay, let's go ahead and go for the Stomping Tantrum there. We are running out of HP here. Raging Bolt shouldn't be too threatening here on this turn. Stomping Tantrum comes out. Draco Meteor does end up taking out the Regirock. And then Parting Shot there. And it is the Lucario in the back. Here comes Mega T-Tar. Let's go ahead and burn this Lucario. No Protect on them. And I'm going to go ahead and Protect here. Insane comes back in. Intimidate drops. Mega Evolve on the Lucario. It is close combat there. Let's see if we can get that burn off. Burn does connect. Alright, let's go ahead and go for now the... Alright, what are the chances that... No, there's no chance. It's a -2 last respects. Let's just go ahead and go for the Stomping Tantrum here. I think into the Incineroar. Yeah, unfortunately this game might be a little bit out of our reach. It is Fake Out into the T-Tar and close combat. That does take it out. Dropping the defenses of this Lucario. I mean, we can see what a 200 base power Last Respects does to this Lucario at -2. Alright, so let's start thinking about game number 3 here. Game number 3 is likely going to be something similar. So the change-ups that he made, wow, crit does actually take out the Raging Bolt. I don't think that changes the math for us, unfortunately, because we do die to our own Sandstorm, and we don't have enough turns to KO both Pokemon. Okay, Protect comes out from the Incineroar, and then Bullet Punch. Alright. Yeah, let's start thinking about game number 3 here. So the change-ups that he made was, of course, Incineroar in favor of the Jumpluff, and then Rayco Meteor. That is devastating. Okay, so his lead was Incineroar and the Incineroar and the Raging Bolt. Okay, I do think Clefairy is the correct switch up for us. Regirock is still incredibly threatening for him. He's played around the Chapel Berry incredibly well. Let's see. I don't hate leading T-Tar Clefairy into that. Yeah, let's go ahead and lead T-Tar Clefairy. Now, I still do like Houndstone, especially with Clefairy. We do take a lot less damage from everything next to the Clefairy. The Raging Bolt is still kind of a pain in the ass. I think we can try to force that Pokemon to play 2v1. Just take out all the partners. I'm between Weirdier and Thundurus at this point. Thundurus gives us more offense with Leer. Weirdier gives us better defense with Intimidate. And Intimidate's instant as well. I think I'm gonna go with Thundurus again. Alright, let's see the change up. It's P2 actually. Alright. He does not have Protect on his Lucario, so we're gonna go ahead and just go for Follow Me Superpower. Post combat goes into the Clefairy, who eats that super well, and Lucario is now no more. Shadow Ball goes into the Clefairy as well. Okay, Raging Bolt then now switch in. Let's go ahead and go for knockoff, and I'm gonna go for Follow Me again. If it's anything aside from Hyper Voice, it can't hit our T-Tar, and I do want to remove this P2's Eviolite. We have a huge lead thanks to that first turn. I don't know if it's quite GG, but certainly looking good so far. Also important to see, P2 looks like it's faster than our T-Tar here. Oh no, sorry, incorrect. T-Tar eats that Shadow Ball absolutely wonderfully. Alright, let's go ahead and go for the Thundurus here. And then we are going to switch into Houndstone as well. And I am just going to, I think I'm just going to get some damage down onto this Incineroar. Let's see, it is fake out into the Houndstone, who is immune, and Thunderbolt does good damage. Ice Beam comes out. Alright, let's go ahead and go for a Stomping Tantrum into the slot and a Leer. Regardless of if it's Incineroar or the Raging Bolt in the slot, obviously not going to like this. Stomping Tantrum does go into the Incineroar. And then Trick Room is set up, actually. Interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and, hey, guess we're just gonna go for the Stomping Tantrum again. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and, do I need Thunderous for anything else? I'm gonna go for the P2 here. Ice Beam does come out and takes out our Thunderous. Knockoff comes out. Crit does kinda hurt. Stomping Tantrum does a good amount to the Incineroar. In comes Mega T-Tar. Got 3 turns of Trick Room to stall out now. Let's go ahead and protect both here. Tech comes out from the Incineroar, so we do scout the protect nicely. It is Shadow Ball going into the Houndstone here. Houndstone probably not going to be long for this world. Let's go ahead and go for the Stone Edge into the Incineroar. Incineroar actually getting the double protect, but so does Houndstone. Incredible. I do think, honestly, it's in our best interest to go for a triple protect. We do fail the triple protect, so Houndstone is going to go down to the Shadow Ball here. And its Parting Shot actually going to come out. Raging Bolt comes in. It's going to take this Stone Edge. Good amount of damage there. And of course Sandstorm in our favor there. Let's go ahead and go for a knockoff here. This P2 doesn't have anything that can really damage us. We eat that Draco Meteor. Knockoff comes out. We're going to take off those Choice Specs. And let's go ahead and we'll go for a Stone Edge here. Incineroar comes back in. Let's go for a Protect here, just to block the Fake Out. Alright, let's see. It is Fake Out, and it's Trick Room, and that'll seal it up. Definitely was meant to taunt the P2 earlier. But that is the game. Very close game. I definitely did think that we were in the lead in Game 3. A couple of misplays earlier on in the game where we definitely could have taken a further lead. But still good work by our Bewears here. A lot to be proud of and a lot to look forward to. Hopefully we can continue this momentum later in the season and turn it around. But GG's to our opponent, and yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next week. Bye bye.